Hello everyone, welcome back to OCD Recovery's YouTube channel. Today I wanted to talk about a topic, which is always a hot topic. Is having anxiety, is experiencing anxiety in the chronic level as scary and as terrible as we make it out to be? And the answer is no. Our perception on the anxiety is really what drives this, which is what I'm going to break down in this video. But before I go any further, you can please subscribe down below, like the video, maybe share it with other people that might be experiencing just other forms of anxiety throughout their life. And what we notice is when someone is experiencing anxiety, well, first let's break down what anxiety is. Anxiety is a sensation. Now, the goal is to not experience anxiety ever again because anxiety is designed to save your life. They know in the literature that people that they don't experience any anxiety or have any type of thought behavior where like, oh, this might not be a good idea. They have a higher chance of passing away. It might trigger some people, but it is the truth because they would just do really silly things. We see this with solo climbers. It's actually a great example. Alex Honnold, who did the movie Free Solo, I don't think he experiences anxiety like someone who just doesn't have a disorder or even a normal person would. I just don't think he experiences anxiety by any means whatsoever, which is one of the reasons why he could free solo. But when it comes to chronic anxiety, there are a couple beliefs about our anxiety that really latch on to the way that we experience anxiety. And that is a super important thing to talk about. So if you think about the feeling itself, it's an uncomfortable feeling, right? And there's a lot of stuff out there talking about that having chronic anxiety can cause you all these other health disorders. And these are all fears that can be broken down. So you could ask yourself a question like this. Let's say you do everything on the safe side. This is a good philosophical question. And you live to 100 years old, but you don't do anything that might be considered, dangerous or adventurous or anything like that. That's cool. You live to 100, maybe not a lot of life experiences. But if I told you right now you are going to be anxious chronically in the background, 30%, until you're 45 years old, you could achieve everything you want to achieve in life. I think most people would pick the anxiety. So the anxiety is actually not stopping you from doing the things that you want to do, not in the way that we think it is. So what we have is beliefs, and those beliefs are dictating how we're experiencing certain things in our life. When people say beliefs don't dictate stuff, that's not true. When you were a kid, you believed in Santa Claus, so you maybe put milk and cookies under the trees because you believed in Santa Claus. You no longer do that because you no longer believe in Santa Claus unless you're doing it for your kids. And these beliefs and shifts do happen over time. So when you tell yourself that you can't stand handling a sensation, what you're doing is you're adding an extra onion layer on. Now, some people will say to me, well, is this really supported? Does this actually work? I'm pretty sure the sensation itself is what's causing me to feel a certain way. And while it is attributing to the way that you see the world, and the works of Claire Weeks and Self-Help for Your Nerves and Albert Ellis and any other people that have broken down cognitive behavioral therapy or other types of cognitive behavioral therapies, such as Aaron Beck or David Meckenbaum and a couple other people who are mentioned throughout the Ellis books, they realize that the way we see things is a major determining factor on the way we perceive that. Obviously, if we have anxiety and chronic anxiety and we see it as terrible, and trust me, it ain't comfortable at all times. I've been there for a long time, but that belief I had on it made me kind of go into the self-pity route and stuff like that and not really move forward. So it is important to cover this, that anxiety, experiencing anxiety, while not comfortable and while we don't have to agree with it, is not as bad as we think it is. That is what's key. Hard to see, hard to understand, but not impossible. And we can move at going towards an unconditional life acceptance, right? Unconditional life acceptance, like, hey, I have chronic anxiety right now. I'm going to do the things I think is better for me to move forward and stuff like that. Again, it won't happen overnight. It's not a gradual, it is a gradual process. It's not a quick fix. But in my opinion, and I have suffered severely with chronic anxiety, throughout my recovery journey, it's not as bad as we think it is, in my opinion. That perceived belief we have about it, about not standing it, and how terrible it is, adds such a deep crust layer on our suffering that when we take that away, we might still be suffering while we work on recovery, but it's not stopping us from doing a lot of things. which is a vital part of recovery. Let me know what you think about this. Comment down below. But also, remember, OCD recovery is the lack of chronic anxiety, shame, and guilt. We don't really sway too much in either direction. It's not that you'll never experience anxiety again. That's not what we're saying. It is designed to save your life. But to experiencing in the chronic level where it's 24/7 is something that more than likely will not be happening. So thank you so much. Well, it won't be happening because that is OCD recovery. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.